Well, the Gov was closed down. It was about an 1860s pub, and it was closed down, shut, and we were looking for a pub we could do this music thing. We were pub restorers. We did the Bridgewater Hotel, the Maylands Hotel, the Royal Family of Port Elliot, which we still own, and this one. But this was a non-commercial venture. It was a little pub that was closed down, and we just, because musicians have supported us for years, and so we said, right, we'll do a music pub, but just a small one. And it got too popular and kept on expanding and got right out of hand. We do 4 or 5 concerts a week at times, so that gives us at least 10 bands. We do afternoon sessions for handicapped people, and the organisers might put on 6 bands. The musicians donate their time, and that's often every second Tuesday afternoon. We get about 300 or 400 people in their wheelchairs. And we've won 2 Prime Minister's Award for the work we do in schools and the work we do with handicapped people. And there might be at least 5 bands that play on those days, so that's 10 bands. We have an Irish session on Friday nights with about 10 to 14 people playing, 11 bands. We have a front bar band on Fridays, 12. Ukulele club Tuesdays is 13. Weekend Warriors Wednesdays is 14. We'll probably do at least 2 bands a week up on the veranda. We do anything from classics down to rap and punk. We do the whole lot, but we try to keep a certain quality up. We don't try and shove rubbish down people's throats. We've just won the award for the best musical venue in Australia, and so we get approached by lots of people to play here all the time. We don't have to go hunting for bands; they come to us, which is great. And we even knock some of those back because we want to keep on having local content nights too. You know, if you look at our music program, you'll find it's pretty broad, and there'll be local bands plugged in amongst all the whole thing all the way through. Oh, no, we make money out of the entertainment centres, but the only trouble is they rob us of parking too when they have a show at the entertainment centre. And now the trams sort of are starting to make an impact on that. Our biggest problem is that the northwestern suburbs are probably our main clientele, down to Semaphore and I'm talking about for casual sort of trade rather than people coming especially for a big concert. But when the trams eventually go down there, it'll be good for us too.
What do I think of the Gov? It's a pub. It's a good one. It has live music pretty much every night of the week. In fact, I think it must be every night of the week. So it's one of the venues of choice for bands when they want to play in Adelaide. And it has a deserved reputation as being, the home of live music. Has been doing so for 10 years or so. Because it's so busy, because it is so popular, amongst touring bands, it's actually quite hard for local bands sometimes to get a gig, to actually book a night at the Gov. But then again, bands, especially local bands, are always being, always get a chance to be up on stage, showing their goods, and gaining in popularity if they get support spots with touring interstate and international artists. It can be, that's one of the recognised pathways for a band to gain a following. So in that respect, you'd have to say, much better that the Gov does what it does in terms of pretty much taking on all comers in terms of music. It's a good thing.
Need a few more venues, I think. Yeah, pretty much. I think there's so many bands out there that just play gigs like there's no big deal. But I think very little of them actually getting anywhere. Which is alright, because that's probably how it is everywhere, not just Adelaide. But yeah, it's like other.
I reckon it's up there with like all the other cities around Australia. Like it's good. I reckon it's fairly decent.
It's getting there. I think we're getting a bit of a name at the moment. It goes in waves, I think. Like every now and then we get like a good wave of good bands.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't.
I think it's the most good Adelaide bands just think that Adelaide's not good enough to like start it, so they just move to Sydney or Melbourne.
I think it's awesome, man.
It's got 2 stages and like medium-sized bands play that. How much is that? Like 300? Yeah, and then you got the front bar for like just local bands. So it's got
kind of like every band in Adelaide is like, shut up. Every band in Adelaide is kind of aiming towards. They did shut up. They did. They're all aiming towards the Gov kind of thing. Like
it's good to see bands in the main stage as well. Like it's good atmosphere when it's like packed.
Yeah, it's really good.
Wherever we can, we're on the big concerts, we give local musicians support. It depends on what the international person wants. If he demands a certain support, there's nothing else we can do. But whenever we get the chance, we try and give a local band the support, which is really good, really, because if you get a good international fellow that's going to draw 700 or 800 people, and it's probably the only chance they'll get in their lifetime. A lot of them, they get on the stage in front of a full-blown audience. It's really great exposure for them. But I'd say our biggest problem here is there's not enough quality bands in Adelaide to draw a crowd. We need at least 400 people to open the back room to just cover our costs, and there isn't enough good bands around to draw crowds like that. Which is a pity, really. I just find the young people aren't given enough encouragement, and they don't lift their sights high enough. All they can think about is doing loud covers rather than. And I'm quite pleased to see the whole rap thing happening, because it's rap gives people the opportunity to let their minds go, and be creative rather than just copiers. I think there's about 90 odd venues around Adelaide now. There's any amount of venues. A lot of young musicians that aren't making it say, "Oh, there's no venues in Adelaide," but this is bullshit. And then we'll book them. There's more bands. We book bands for Thursday and Saturday night in the front bar, just young bands. We try to do a good variety. But they'll turn up here to play. Well, the first question they ask is, "What's the rider, mate? You're paying for the night. Where's the audience?" And we say, "But we've hired you to bring an audience into the hotel." "What do you mean?" "Well, the whole idea of putting you in here is to bring an audience into the pub, Where's your audience?" And they haven't bothered to invite anyone. The pubs aren't going to book you again, Some other pub's going to ring me up and say, "How'd that band go you had the other night?" And I'll say, "Well, no one turned up. I lost $400 for the night,
No, I think it had to be like one of the top venues, I reckon. Agreed.
Well, we seem to be always writing about them. With most things, I suppose, in the local music industry, it's an arrangement whereby people are self-supporting. The Gov is a great supporter of DB and has been for, pretty much, I think, since we first started publishing, or in fact, we started publishing before they became a no pokies pub. But we certainly recognise what the Tonkin family has done and the way they've made it quite a unique sort of home. The Gov services a niche market, The live music thing, like it or not, there's an awful lot of stuff out there nowadays for people to do. And live music is almost a bit of a niche business. But as a hotel, the Gov does it extremely well, and we promote shows that are coming up at the Gov probably each and every issue.